This will be the very last video you'll ever have to watch about Luocha, because in this video we are going to be talking about absolutely everything, and yes, I mean everything in regards to both sides of the story and both sides of the past that we're talking about, in terms of why people think he is low value, why you should not summon for him, and some people thinking you must summon for him. He's a very high value character. We're going to be talking about both standpoints, and we're going to be talking about other things just like him and his kit, and of course we're going to summarize this because I know a lot of you already know about this. His role and how good he does his role, his value and how it changes depending on what people you have on your account, and also other factors that affect his appearance and wand for him. So we're going to be talking about all of this, so that way you're able to make your decision. You're able to understand if you're going to be summoning for Luocha or not, just so that we get this out of the way and that we have everything already set. So let's go ahead and start talking about one of the first dividing paths when it comes to why people think Luocha is either high in value or low in value, and that depends on the characters you have on your account. Now, the number one thing that we're going to go ahead and say as a condition is, do you have Bailu or do you have Japard? Because if you have either of these characters, you're set on one path, and if you don't have either of these characters, then you're set on the other path. Now, for those that have Bailu and Japard, you're probably going to end up thinking that Luocha is pretty low in value, just because you already have that second surviving character or that second sustainability character for your second team. And this is very important when it comes to the higher floors in Memory of Chaos. These enemies do hit quite a bit, so having really good characters when it comes to a second portion of your team, having a really good healer or shielder just like Bailu and Japard, because we already know that Natasha is carrying another side of the team, so we can't split her in two. We have to have another character. So for people that have Bailu and Japard, you're already going to see Luocha at very low value because you already have someone that fills his role. Now, for people that don't have Luocha, these people are going to be seeing Luocha in a very high value, high investment character, so that they're able to use them for that second team, and so that they're able to clear Memory of Chaos a little bit easier, since we've been using other characters that aren't Bailu and Japard, that as cracked as they are, to be able to clear Memory of Chaos or anything that might come in the future in regards to having two teams. So this already, with these two separate paths that people have to take in regards to what they have on their account, is already setting polarizing and different opinions on Luocha just because of a certain character they have on their account. So I want to get this out of the way, just because we know why this is happening, why a lot of people don't really see eye to eye, and why Luocha is good or not, because some people just definitely don't need them because they have a spot already filled up by that, and some people don't. So let's go ahead and talk about Luocha's kit, just so that we understand what we're talking about. And of course, I'm going to try to give this in the most concise way and the fastest way, so that we get this out of the way, because I know a lot of you already know what it is. But for Luocha's kit, his basic attack is a regular attack, nothing special like Silver Wolf. His skill is going to heal, of course, and whenever you use the skill, whatever character that you ended up using the skill on, if they go below 50% HP, you get to use it again for free, and this has a cooldown of 2 turns. Your skill is also going to give you an Abyss stack, and this can also cleanse with the Trace. For his ultimate is going to be the only offensive ultimate out of all the healers in the game, and also it can dispel 1 buff from an enemy and gives you another Abyss Flower stack. The talent is going to be using up these stacks. After 2 stacks, you're going to be making a field that restores HP when you attack, and this field lasts 2 turns. Traces allow him to get more energy after his ult, and he cannot be one shot no matter what, because he has a passive where he cannot take more than 80% of his max HP. So if you have full health, there's no way you can get killed with Luocha. He's going to be the surviving character, but if you're lower than a certain amount of HP, then this passive won't really matter. Now, talking about Luocha's kit as a whole, Luocha is a good character overall. Luocha fills in that role of a healer, which is already scarce, and even if his role was more fleshed out, and there's more healers of course in the future that are 4 stars or 5 stars, he has imaginary damage, and with that imaginary damage, he has an offensive ult that allows him to do shield break for imprisonment, and this is already strong already, slowing down the enemies that you're going to be going against. Cleanse and healing without the use of skill points due to the skill and talent also allows for Luocha to be a net positive skill point character. So being able to do that second heal with the character going under 50% HP, that's already helping you out, not really needing another skill point, and also using that field to be able to heal anybody in your team when they attack is very strong as well. So there's going to be a lot of times where you're just going to be hitting basic attacks with Luocha, and this is going to be give you free skill points no matter what. So if you build them with a bit of speed, then you might end up having max skill points at a certain time, just because you're just not going to end up using your heal that much, because you are going to be having that field out every so often. So by him as a character by himself, and not taking into account the scarcity of healers, which is basically artificially inflating his value, he is still an amazing character by the book. Now, going back to the dividing path, when we already talked about why Luocha objectively is already a really good character, now we're going back to the dividing path in regards to why his value drops or rises depending on what characters you have on your account. Going back to Bailu and Japard, if you have them on your account, you already have this role filled, and this is going to be something that doesn't really matter when it comes to Memory of Chaos. You already have that character filled for your second team, Natasha's for your first team, then you're already set for the rest of the Memory of Chaos, depending on whatever they do with buffs and stuff like that. The game as well is not too hard, in all honesty. I think I've been able to do most of the things that I've already been doing with Fire MC on one team and Natasha on the other. So there is reason why you really don't have to summon for Luocha, because the game is not crazy hard for you to need 2 healers, but at the same time, having those 2 healers is going to be the most consistent, they're going to be the most reliable in having him on your account and helping you out when it comes to Memory of Chaos and the hard-hitting enemies that are going to be in the last floors. And lastly, when it comes to having a character in your account as well, no character is a must-have in this game. You get the characters that you really want, in all honesty, depending on your preferences, your attraction to the character, your connection to the character, all these different factors that is personal to you. These are the things that really matter a lot when it comes to meta versus enjoyability. So there are reasons why his value does drop depending on the person that is trying to look and summon for him. Now, for those that don't have Bailu and Japard, for those that don't have the second survivability character that you really need for Memory of Chaos, you see the value in, of course, having that second survivability character for Memory of Chaos. And also, when you do get this second healer, you basically have all you possibly need when it comes to having 2 healers on your account for either team, no matter what content is brought out. You're going to have Natasha for one team, and you're going to have Luocha for the other. So there is value in getting him when you don't have the second survivability character like Bailu and Japard, and then there's reasons why you don't really need him if you have Bailu and Japard, because these are the 2 dividing paths that end up making these differing opinions on why people think he's either good or bad. But we've already cleared up that objectively Luocha is just an amazing character. But another thing that is going to be messing up Luocha as well is definitely his banner placement, because sadly he was put in between one of the strongest debuffers in the game, which is Silverwolf, and also between long-awaited characters such as Blade and Kafka coming in the next update. So this doesn't really make it any easier for Luocha to get some value when it comes to people wanting to summon for him, because not a lot of people are in the situation where they have a lot of flexibility in the choices that they're able to make, because there was a bunch of different banners that a lot of people could summon on or save for, like Sele, like Jingyuan, Silverwolf, Kafka, Blade. These are a lot of different characters, especially with the placement of their banners and the placement of how popular these banners are, these characters are. There's a lot of reason why you would want to pull on them. With Luocha being in the middle, with kind of being the less popular one, kind of being the one that's in the middle of all of these popular characters, whether it be story or personal attraction to these characters, you've already probably pulled on these characters, and you already probably have the thoughts of saving for these characters that are coming right after him. So if the situation wasn't as bad, if he wasn't as surrounded with all of these crazy characters when he was popped in the middle like that, then maybe he would have been seen in a more positive light than what he is currently. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and say it as a full-on opinion of mine. I do think no matter what, no matter how you see it, Luocha is an objectively very super strong character. No matter what, he is a very great character and always will be one because of how much he actually does for your team, for your skill point economy, for all of the things that you could possibly do, especially with him having an offensive ult as well as a healer. He is just a very strong character. The thing that sucks is that, of course, depending on the characters that you have on your account, depending if you don't have them on your account, is a super big reason why he either shifts up or down in value, and that's just, you know, that's just the way it goes. But other than that, that's going to be pretty much it for this video. We've already talked about all the things in regards to Luocha, whether it be his kit, how I feel about him, why people think he is either bad or good, and we already covered all that in this video. So hopefully this helped you in some way or fashion get either a reason to not summon for him or to summon for him. I do think he's worth summoning on just because he's a very strong character. He's one of the better healers in the game for sure, and I think he's going to be absolutely insane with some of the characters that will be coming out. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching all the way to the end. See y'all in the next one, and peace.